You don't commit the same wrong act and not pay a high price. You're arrested at 1:05, being over double the limit. At 1:05 a.m. Why aren't you at home with the family that you're so worried and concerned about? You're drunk, driving a third DWI, and the family now you're worried about was at home waiting on you. Can you explain that? If there's a we now call cause number 25 CR 961, the state of Texas versus Kevin Jamal Jefferson. That's you, correct?
Yes.
And Comerford is here representing you. You were indicted for operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated. He pleaded, it looks like he pleaded true to the second paragraph, which constitutes the two or more prior DWIs that makes it a third degree felony. But he's got 2012 two burglary of habitations, but he did not plead true to that, right?
Correct, because what we were
So
doing,
we're just at a third degree felony?
we had an agreement as to him being placed on probation for 10 years. Sentenced to 10, probated for 10 with $1,000 fine. The PSI was to determine what drug treatment state's position was safe being. They wanted something other than that, Judge.
They mentioned JCDI in the PSI, Judge, and so that would be a program I think that Mr. Jefferson could benefit from. That would keep him to support his
He
children.
could benefit from it. They all could. They don't all do it. They all don't benefit. I got in 2010, he was placed on deferred probation for burglary of a habitation, and then that was revoked. He got 11 years in 2012 for burglary, second degree felony, and then evading arrest. His probation on April 10th, 28th of 2010, 5 years deferred. That was revoked, and he gets 2 years on October 8th, concurrently with the burglary. And then there's a second burglary conviction on October 8th, and he's sentenced to 6 years. Is that what happens? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So he's got two burglary convictions, which are, I guess, represented in, those paragraphs 3 and 4, plus a evading arrest. That was that state jail.
Yes, sir.
And so the plan is to convict. He's going to be convicted on this one, and this is a regular probation, which means next time you'd be looking at habitual felon status, 25 minimum. You still have a long way to go in life. 25 years, a quarter of a century, can really foul up freedom. Mr. Jefferson, we were here earlier. Again, you pleaded guilty to operating a motor vehicle while intoxicated, and you pleaded true to paragraph 2, two prior DWIs, operating motor vehicles while intoxicated. Thus, this third one becomes a felony if all of that is true. You pleaded true to paragraph 2, which actually you have 3 prior DWI convictions, not just 2, but 2 or more elevates a regular DWI to a third degree felony. So you were looking at no less than 2, no more than 10 years confinement in prison, and a fine up to $10,000 could be assessed. And this court is going to make its findings. Did anybody want to add anything more? If nothing further, I'm going to find that you have pleaded guilty to paragraphs 1 and 2, and true to paragraph 2, which constitutes the prior convictions, which together turns this operating a motor vehicle in a public place while intoxicated to a third degree felony, because it's your third conviction of a DWI or greater. You have pleaded guilty voluntarily. You were mentally competent to do so. You understood and appreciated the consequences of pleading guilty. There's sufficient evidence supporting your guilty plea from State's Exhibit 1 admitted at the hearing right here, supporting your guilty plea to find you guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. And I find that you are mentally competent to enter this plea. If you are guilty of this offense and any lesser included offenses, and you are giving up your rights to a jury trial and the rights to the appearance, confrontation, and cross-examination of witnesses. I am following this agreement. You were hereby found guilty beyond a reasonable doubt and sentenced to 10 years imprisonment. That sentence is suspended. You were placed on regular probation for 10 years, you will be fined $1,000. There will be terms and conditions of probation, which are normal and customary for this type of offense. Also, the state is recommending that you receive substance abuse felony punishment facility assistance, which is it's really kind of like a hospital-like environment that seems to be quite effective for folks. This is something that the state is requesting, and I want to hear what the defense says, but you have bypassed this level for felony as for DWIs 2 convictions ago, you know? So you've been placed on supervision 3 times, all of which resulted in revocations. So as the probation office states in the pre-sentence report, this reflects a pattern of non-compliance with court-ordered conditions. Overall, the defendant's history reflects a recurring pattern of impaired driving and poor judgment, suggesting longstanding alcohol use issue that has remained unaddressed. Despite repeated involvement with the criminal justice system, the defendant has never participated in the substance abuse treatment, therefore has not had the opportunity to learn the skills and tools necessary to address his alcohol abuse or break this recurring cycle of behavior. As such, the defendant may benefit from structured substance abuse treatment to address the underlying factors contributing to his criminal conduct. And also, it should reduce the likelihood of future alcohol-related offenses. All of that I find to be accurately stated. I intend to place the defendant on community supervision. Now, what is it we want to add to this? The defendant, according to the probation office, should participate in an intensive outpatient treatment, specifically the Jefferson County Drug Intervention Program, in accordance with the recommendations of the licensed chemical dependency counselor. And should the defendant test positive for alcohol or controlled substances while participating in JCDI, he should be required to enter and successfully complete the substance abuse felony punishment facility, SAFE, as well as all required aftercare components. So the probation office has designed a method of stair step. They're suggesting JCDI, then SAFE, this court. If you failed, if I place you on JCDI, you failed, I don't have to put you in the SAFE program. We can go right to prison. I don't know how many more chances you get about finger pointing on, this is a 4,000-pound missile. You're operating irresponsibly around town. If you don't care about your own life and well-being, you ought to care about other people who trust other drivers to be responsible for their lives, which you don't show. And here you were twice the legal limit, over twice the legal limit for impaired driving and being intoxicated. All right, go ahead, say.
Judge, my original offer on this case was 12 years TDC, or he could do 10 over 10 with safety. And I told the defense counsel specifically there were no other probation options. When we appeared here in court, they signed up and I thought they were accepting that deal. And I didn't find out until we were right at the edge of completing that plea that they hadn't agreed to safety. So that's where here.
Well,
I went through with it. I don't like how it happened. I don't feel like it was appropriate. And I'm voicing that now. That being said, looking at this PSI, you can understand why my position was that from the beginning. This man could have been treated with a second-degree felony because of his prior convictions. He does not seem to get exactly like what they said here, the concept of not drinking and driving. The 3 prior DWIs he had were separate dates. They end up with revocations resulting in right at the same time because he didn't successfully complete his probations. But the end result is he's drinking again, and that's 8 months after he's sentenced to time on this issue. What's really a glaring thing in this report, from my opinion, as to why he should be sent to safety, comes on page.
this offense, how long were you out of custody before you committed this new offense?
Can't be more than 8 months, Judge.
Is that what everybody thinks that?
Maybe 8 months.
I have no idea how long he actually served on that 120-day sentence. So I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt, say 8 months. When he gets to going to do the substance abuse
Hold on, 8
evaluation,
months. That's not 120 days. That's 4 months.
I'm talking about between the sentence date and this new offense date from his priors.
How much time were you in custody the last time you were disciplined for DWI? Mhm.
So when we look at page 4 and the substance abuse evaluation that's done, the lady that conducted this, Ms. Posey, noted that he underreported his consumption and mood altering substances. When she went to perform a urinalysis, he claimed he was unable to provide a sample. Miraculously, when he showed up for his PSI interview a week later, he's ready to do a test. To me, I treat that as a failure. I'm not even asking that you test him today because he shows up prepared just like he did on June 10th. He needs structured help. And that's the whole reason why I was willing to give him probation with safety. I understand what they're suggesting as far as JCDI and the stair step there. And I would agree with that if someone didn't have his history. But with his history and these facts, I would feel safer for Jefferson County and our community that he doesn't leave this courtroom. He goes from here into custody and goes into safety.
Okay, from Alex.
Yes, Judge. Regarding the June 3rd and June 10th instance, he had showed up on June 3rd and told Ms. Posey that morning, the first thing, that he could not use the restroom at that time. Instead of having him wait on June 3rd at the end of this evaluation, she told him that he needed to come back on June 10th to do this. So he was prepared to do this on June 10th. Also, Mr. Jefferson has been employed at the port and has been taking
There's a lot to lose here.
His job was finished, and so he has to switches to new jobs once the project is complete. And during that time, he was being drug tested. And so he has been passing his drug tests while he's been out on bond for this case. And so he's been clean. And I think this June 3rd instance was a misunderstanding. I wouldn't say it was necessarily bad faith by Mr. Jefferson to hide the fact that he wasn't going to be unable to pass a drug test. That's not the condition back then. It's not the condition today. If he would pass a drug test today, you would like him to take a drug test. I think JCDI would be most beneficial for him. He has 3 kids and he supports them right now. No other source of income would provide this family for the time that he's in safety.
Okay. I'm willing to go along with the probation officer's recommendation on JCDI. But you got another problem with me, is you don't commit subsequent crimes and don't pay a price. The last time you did this, you got 120 days in jail. This time you're going to get 180 days. Each time you commit a crime like this, it's going to be more serious. A condition of probation, it will include 180 days in the county jail. Then when you leave there, then you go do JCDI. But you don't commit the same wrong act and not pay a higher price. Putting aside everybody else on the road who's at risk. My goodness, you have responsibilities at home. You're supposed to be a role model, set an example. But you know that committing crimes subject you to confinement. And how's that working out for the family unit? This is the event on May 17th of 25, huh?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you're arrested at 1:05, being over double the limit. Right? At 1:05 a.m., you're not scared? Why aren't you at home with the family that you're so worried and concerned about? You're drunk, driving a third DWI, and the family now you're worried about was at home waiting on you. Can you explain that? If they're so important in your life, why aren't they ahead of your own drunkenness and the other people who have to share the roadway with you? There's the problem right there. You gotta quit being selfish and putting your life ahead of others. And then when you come before the court on this, the first thing you want to do is, I've got children at home that I'm responsible for. Yeah, you are. But this isn't a way at 1 o'clock in the morning on a third DWI. That's no way to, you got to show responsibility, not talk about it, nor use them as a defensive mechanism to prevent you from being held accountable. All right. So you're sentenced to 10 years in prison. That's suspended for 10 years, fined $1,000. You must serve 180 days in the county jail. Then you will complete the JCDI program. 180 days. All right. Do you understand what has happened today, Mr. Jefferson? Yes. Good luck to you. I'll see you. Look, I got children. I got grandchildren. I can't imagine hurting them. Okay. And that's what's happening when you're in jail. You decided that what you wanted to do was more important. That's fixable. You say you love them, show it. And it makes you a better person in life. Oh, that is all. Good luck to you, son. Here. Anything else? We're in recess. Let's get ready for trial. Thank you.